have Darien Sills-Evans with me today. And this is an absolute treat because besides being an accomplished actor, writer, comedian, director, I actually saw a video where you're like a 17-year-old filmmaker talking. This was on YouTube.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, just a young buck. It was so much fun to watch you, though. But just an incredibly accomplished guy, and also someone who from time to time watches my videos and comments on them. And I've really appreciated your support and your encouragement. So thank you very much, sir.
Oh, thank you, Dave. It's a real pleasure being with you, and I love your videos.
Oh, appreciate that. So Cosby, this was the Cosby that was on CBS. And then Third Watch, you were a recurring character on Third Watch. We were talking before the video. You were in Person of Interest. We just saw you the other day in Person of Interest. And then more recently, you got to hang out with Katie Seagal a little bit on Superior Donuts, right?
Oh, yeah, that was great. Yeah, Katie, I played Katie's partner, and we hung out in the donut shop.
That is so awesome. I only caught a handful of episodes of that show.
Yeah.
But that one was, there were a bunch of shows that CBS canceled way too soon.
Yeah.
I think there was something to do with like the business end of they wanted to be like the production house for the shows that they had. And there may have been some declining ratings on that second season. You weren't on it, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, but that's right. That's what my wife likes to say.
Absolutely. They blew it.
Yeah, it was a great first season at the very least. And, and working on that show was like going to TV school every week because it was like Katie and Judd Hirsch, and our director was James Burrows, who did Cheers and Taxi. And it was just, for a TV geek like myself, it was hard to believe that I was having so much fun at work and that I was getting paid to just do this, I love that job. It was a great first season.
That's awesome. That's when work no longer is work, right? When you're having that kind of fun.
I'd been in the business 30 years by that point, and that was the first job that was like, oh, this is what you hear about when people are like, oh, we're like, family, and we talk and hang out, because I'd never really experienced that.
Wow.
It doesn't happen that often.
No.
It's like any other job, and I think people don't really understand that. It's like when you work your job. Like when I worked in retail, I never hung out with the people that I worked in retail with after work. It was like, see you later. Yeah, why would you?
You hung out with them all day, right?
Exactly. So you just kind of go about your business. Is the best you could hope for is that people are at least friendly at work, and there aren't too many gigantic egos. And fortunately, even though I've worked with some pretty big names, I haven't experienced that too much. Although I have experienced it.
It comes with the territory. I think exactly. With the field that you are in, my friend. All right, so I've got 5 questions for you.
Great.
I'm excited to hear your answers. So the first one is, if you could play any character on TV, the sky's the limit, and also time frame, doesn't have to be now, whenever. Think back to the television over the years. If you could play any character, who would it be and why?
Who would it be and why? Well, I'd have to think, like, when I think about this question, I was thinking about, like, what TV I watched as a kid and what made me want to even be an actor or be on TV myself. And I'd have to say, growing up in the 70s and seeing the genre of the black child adopted by families, I always wanted to be Arnold Jackson, Maybe Webster, but definitely Arnold Jackson. I mean, Arnold Jackson got to meet Knight Rider, he got to meet Mr. T, and, live on Park Avenue, and he was always the funniest in the room. So
I think Gary Coleman definitely fared better in terms of Webster was cool, but Coleman,
Coleman edged them out. Plus, Coleman had all those great TV movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Size-wise, stature-wise, you were a little bit.
Yeah, would have been a tall Arnold.
Yeah. That's great, though. I love that answer. So, you mentioned this earlier. You've been in the entertainment industry for going on 30 years. The video I watched of you on YouTube, you were 17 years old.
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about what motivates you at this point to keep going, to stay in the game.
you have to enjoy it, and I do enjoy it. I mean, but like with anything else, you know, I have a family, I have bills, I have a mortgage to pay. So definitely that part of it motivates me as well. What's really exciting is when you come across a project that you fit and you can hear your voice in it, and they want you and you want to work with them, and you know that comes along rarely, but when that does come along, that kind of makes all the other jobs in between that you don't enjoy as much worth it. And you know, it's always fun just being different people, and you know, meeting just really creative people, and it kind of inspires me in the work that I do when I'm not an actor. So there's a benefit to it all, and I think for me growing up in it, I've been fortunate enough to have successes and have failures, and so I know that when it comes, to really enjoy it and to really appreciate it, and you know, try to stay in the moment.
I love that. It's so hard, right? To stay in the moment, but when that magic happens, that ability to just kind of just enjoy the heck out of it. That's awesome. Great answer. So Doc Brown, by the way, Back into the Future is one of my favorite movies. Love that original one. The trilogy, not as much, but Doc Brown hands you the keys to the DeLorean, and you can go to any time and place, in the future, in the past. When is it going to be? And of course, why?
Wow. I guess I would have to go into the future and maybe stay a little incognito, because but I would be curious to see what happens, only because I'm hopeful, and my favorite television show ever, Star Trek, took place in the future, and I always wonder, will we ever get there? You know, and that's I know I'm going to die wondering that, because we'll never, you know, live like the Federation does in Star Trek in my time, but you know, I would want to see that. Going to the past, while exciting, probably wouldn't be too safe, even in my fantasies, because how far back can I go before I'm
you would need to be a little careful.
I would. I've got a big mouth, and so I wouldn't do so well.
I love that.
You know.
Trek's one of my favorite shows too, and it's because of exactly what you talk about, like the promise, right?
Yeah.
Of a future where everybody's treated equally. A lot of the crap that we deal with nowadays is just we've risen above it, and hopefully we get there. I don't know how far in the future you'd have to go for that, but
I know. I mean, Star Trek already is like 300 years in the future, depending on what series you're watching. So how far would you have to go? Maybe you'd have to go like 600 years just to make sure.
Bonus question for you, Darien. I'm sorry I didn't prepare you for this one, but I'm going to ask you it anyway.
Sure.
Which version of Trek do you like best?
I have this debate often. I would have to say Deep Space Nine is my favorite.
Oh yeah, with Avery Brooks.
Brooks. And it's I don't know. It's the most unusual of the Trek series, and it's pretty dark, and I love the serialized storytelling. It's probably my favorite. The one I've seen the most is probably TNG.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's so hard. It's like, which one of your children do you love more?
Yeah. Thoughts on Discovery?
I enjoy Discovery. I mean, I know that it gets a lot of heat from the fans, but you know, things change, and you have to enjoy a program for what it is. You know, one of my favorite videos of yours is when you did one about Galactica 1980.
Yeah,
which, like, you know, a show that's reviled, but you have to just enjoy things for what they are. And
you know, the video, so talking about that video, I'm looking at it through my eyes now, right? And but when I was a younger man, a much younger man, and I heard that Battlestar Galactica was coming back,
right,
and sat down for Galactica 1980 and watched them finally find Earth, and it didn't matter that Starbuck wasn't there, you know, Apollo wasn't there, and and that weird little kid from the Brady Bunch, Cousin Oliver, was some sort of weird scientist. None of that mattered. I was awestruck. It's only later on that I realized, oh wait, that maybe was inferior to the original series.
I remember watching with my dad, and like you, just enjoying it and being awestruck. Him like going, I don't know if I like this as much, but I was like, what are you talking about? It's
there's an episode in Galactica 1980 and I think I mentioned this in the video, The Return of Starbuck, which is really good. It's a really good episode.
Which they had to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, we've gone way off the questions, but what are you most proud of, my friend?
Most proud of my family, I guess. I've got to say that because my daughter watches YouTube, so she'll but I guess career-wise, I'm most proud of the last film that I directed, One Bedroom, because that was my third film, but it was the one that I think came closest to what I wanted it to be, and it was also the most successful as an indie film could be, which is it's made no money, but it's got good reviews.
And where can we watch that if we wanted to see it, Darien?
It's streaming on everything right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You could find it. It's not on Netflix, but it is on Amazon, and you can get it on iTunes.
Awesome. I'll have to check that one out. Well, very cool. How about, speaking of cool, how about sharing something just random, something cool with us?
Well, it's been a weird year. I was supposed to move into episodic TV directing this year after directing my film last year, and I did the Sony Directors Program and everything. That kind of got sidelined because of COVID. But things seem to be ramping up, and it gave me a lot of time to write new stuff. And so me and my team are going out with some new pilots that hopefully we can make. Because I have a sitcom that I've written that's kind of based on my life, and I'd love to do that. And there's a new twist on the police procedural that we're working on, and I've partnered with one of the producers of The Deuce on HBO, and hopefully we can get that made. But
that'd be awesome. Fingers crossed for you.
Thanks, buddy.
Truly hope that happens. It'd be great to see that come to light. Do you have a podcast? Is in the back of my head, I thought I'd read that there was a podcast that you do from time to time. I've read some of your blog posts, but is there a podcast out there that we can listen to too?
My wife was asking me about that, and some friends were asking me to revive my podcast. I did have a podcast called Race Man, which is kind of a comedy podcast. About the news. And I had to stop it because for about 5 years, I was the spokesperson for U.S. Cellular. And, they weren't too keen on my edgy political comedy. And
they wanted you to stay middle of the road, super safe.
So they were like, we'd love to keep paying you this spokesperson money, but, you have to kind of stop saying stuff. And so I retired the podcast for a while, but I'm no longer the spokesperson, and I'm back to being allowed to be funny. So I might just revive it.
That'd be awesome. I would love to listen to that and add that to my queue. So if it ever happens, please let me know.
And I hope you would come on.
I would love to. It has been an absolute treat, Darien. Again, let me thank you for your support. I appreciate your support. It's great when channel subscribers and other folks reach out and encourage me, and knowing your connections to the industry and everything, I've really appreciated it. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for coming on and visiting with me today.
Oh, my pleasure, Dave. And I really appreciate you. And I hope we can stay in touch, man. You're great.
Will do. Thanks
again.
All right,
buddy. Take care.